All right, welcome in. It is time for Total Bases. We did not have a link set up, so I'm just going to give people a minute or two to jump in to the live chat, and then we'll get the show started. So let's go around the horn. Interested to see how your Fridays went. Bryan Leonard, how did Friday go for you?
I went 2-1, won my 4% play on Tampa Bay in pretty easy fashion, and now on a 14-4, 4 and 5% run, and 50-25 our last 75 plays overall.
Tokyo Brandon, I'll go first, I suppose, and I'll kick it to TB because I too won my 4% play on the Rays. That was nice and easy. And so pretty frustrating to go 1-2 because the Rays kind of looked like it was a done deal relatively early. And I had the Orioles and Salt Lake in AAA. Salt Lake was probably the wrong side, but another extra inning loss. The Orioles, a 3-2 lead late, probably could have had more. And they end up going into extra innings and losing. So I'm kind of in this, since the All-Star break, TV, spinning my wheels a little bit. Not getting crushed, but I can't seem to get going back in the other direction either. So frustrating 1-2 because, like I said, when the Rays were up kind of 5-1, I already sort of had that one. I didn't think the Guardians were coming back, and ends up being a 1-2 night. So how did things go for you on Friday?
Yeah, not so good. I lost my only MLB play, which I stupidly took Tariq Skubal's strikeouts 8.5 under, and think he had 12 strikeouts in the third inning. I'm just kidding, but he was just striking guys out like blinking an eye. I mean, it was just so little effort, and the Royals were just pathetic last night. Normally a team that doesn't strike out that much, so I was a little surprised. So I lost that, went 3-0 in Mexican baseball, and then I lost a KBO play. So yeah, I'd rather win the MLB than win the Mexican baseball because more people are betting the MLB. But it wasn't a losing day, so at least I'll take solace in that.
Yeah, just trying to, that's kind of what I was saying yesterday is I guess the one for me, the one saving grace for me, I suppose, is my MLB has been fine. Pretty much just been washing out for the last week or two. I haven't lost any ground in MLB. It's really just been more giving back in AAA and KBO, where I built up a pretty good cushion in June and early July. Was red hot in both of those. So but we come to Saturday. It's a new day. As always, trying to get it going back in the right direction. It does look like you guys are in the chat now. So let's get going. We've got enough people here.
Yep.
And we'll start with Dodgers Mets. This is going to be our feature game today. You can find this game on national TV, Fox. Most of the country getting this one on Fox. Last night, the Dodgers. This is not a game I watched a ton of, Brian. I didn't have action here. I was busy with other games, but looked to me like Roki Sasaki had a very good start once again. 9 strikeouts, 7 innings, just 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, and 2 walks. And the Dodgers end up winning that game 4-2. Man, the Mets are now 18 games under 500. It's tough. It's just a tough team to figure out because every time I think they're dead and buried to go and win a game or two just to tease us a little bit. But man, they're 18 games under 500. It's July 25th. What do you make of Dodgers Mets here?
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of this. I went out to the local sports book at the South Point, and they had it as the featured game with the sound and everything on there. So even though I didn't have anything involved in that game, I was able to watch it. In fact, they've really made a really nice sports book. I haven't been back to the Suncoast over there in Summerlin. It's really nice sports book, and took my wife out to dinner and had some fun doing that. She always loves to watch baseball, so I'm very fortunate in that regard. But we've got Yamamoto against McLean here. We're looking at Yamamoto about a 150 favorite, total of 7.5. Yeah, the Dodgers, when they come to play, they're very much like the Yankees were when they had their dynasty, where you never felt they were out of the game until the game was over. And they played very well yesterday. The Mets have been hitting pretty well, but Soto had to leave the game yesterday, and without him in there, I don't know he's going to be going on the IL, but I have a feeling he will be. Without him in that lineup going against Yamamoto, I don't see the Mets being a major contributor offensively in this one. McLean's been very good. He may have some success here against the Dodgers. So with the total of 7.5 here, and I already feel that the Mets stadium is it's a low scoring environment. And so not often you'll see a 7.5 in a Dodgers game, but that would be the only way I would look at this one is I think both starting pitchers should come out of this relatively unscathed. And 7.5, I'll play the under. If it was 7, I'd probably pass, but 7.5, I think has a little bit of value.
Tommy Turnbuckle says Mets first 5 plus a half. One of my favorite plays today, and the under. Yamamoto coming off a complete 9-inning game with 104 pitches. Mets get to him today. Tommy, I agree with you in the respect that I wanted to play the Mets here. I love Nolan McLean. I've made no secret about that. I've always been a Nolan McLean guy ever since he got called up. I was talking about him on the show weeks before he got called up a couple of years back or last year or whatever that was. He's awesome, and he's a guy that I look to back. But Brian makes a really good point. Listen, Juan Soto, in what many people consider to be a down year for him, still has a 947 OPS, okay, in a down year. He's still hitting 283 in a bad season. And you go look at that Mets lineup. There's not another guy with an 800 OPS in that Mets lineup right now. At least not the one they put out there yesterday, which is pretty much the their starting lineup. Bo Bichette, 671. Jose Lindor, 697. Even some of the young guys having good years like AJ Ewing, 759. That's, Soto not being in there is a far bigger, that's just too much, I think, for me. And that's probably the reason I'm out on this one. So over to you, Tokyo Brandon. Can that get you to go the other way? Do you want the Dodgers here knowing that Soto may not play here?
I would say, the numbers are screaming Dodgers, but there's a couple red flags here. I mean, the Dodgers have the better lineup, obviously. They have the better bullpen right now. I got them ranked 16, where I got the Mets ranked 21. Matter of fact, the only real saving grace for the Mets here is Nolan McLean. Actually, I have Nolan McLean ranked higher than Yamamoto, which kind of surprised me, but having a heck of a season. Hard to deny that. But with no lineup backing him up and no bullpen backing him up, I think the Dodgers would be the right way to go here. The red flags I was talking about were the fact that so wisely pointed out in our chat, and this is why I like our chat, because they're a very intelligent audience. We have to stay on our toes, or else our chat will take us over here. But Yamamoto coming off a 9-inning game, generally pitchers come out flat after that. Maybe Yamamoto's a different animal. Maybe he won't be flat after that, but that's one red flag. The other red flag is the fact that the Dodgers just don't care. This is the least urgent team in all of MLB. They're just cruising to the postseason. They don't care. I mean, when a player is out there swinging his bat, he's trying to hit the ball. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not trying to win. I'm just saying there's no urgency for them, and kind of matters a little bit, When you're in a 3-2 count in the World Series with 2 outs and a guy on third base, it's a little different than when you're playing the Mets in July, and you're already in the postseason. So there is something. These guys are human. So a couple of red flags, but I think Dodgers -1 would be the play.
You're 100% right about on the overall. The Dodgers, they could literally go through the motions from now until the end of the year. They'll still win the division easily. And I do think you're right. I do think collectively that probably is the case. But I do think they probably care when they're on national TV. They're in New York. There's a different, listen, if they're going to play a road series in Kansas City, I'm with you. They don't give a shit. They're just not into that. But on a primetime game on a Saturday night in New York, you might get their best effort. Now, I want to, so Prop King here says down year with a question mark. That's a really good point. Juan Soto is right on his career numbers. So career OPS for Soto is 948. This year he's at 947. It's the perception that he's having a bad year. Like New York fans and like the New York media is so crazy that they would tell you that Soto's just been awful this year because the Mets have been bad as a team. But yeah, he's right on his career numbers. And what I'm saying is it should affect the number more when he's out of the lineup. When you take him out, like he's the guy that in my opinion, you take him out of this Mets lineup. Yes, Tommy, I see AJ Ewing is starting to play well, but like Soto being out should be a 20 to 30 cent move, in my opinion. He's one of few guys that moves the needle from a numbers perspective, like when he's not there. So that's probably why I can't get down with the Mets here. Brian, go ahead.
That Juan Soto perception might be because he started the season really terribly, but then he picked it up.
That's true.
You had mentioned AJ Ewing. What a gun. That was a beautiful throw last night to get him out at the plate. 100 miles an hour from an outfielder. I do want to point out with the Yamamoto with 102 pitches, if you go back to the last 3 starts, he's averaging 103 pitches. So it's just not a single game. He's used to throwing 100 pitches. He's very similar to Dylan Cease, who with the last 3 starts, he's averaged 107. He's not the workhorse that Dylan Cease's body is, but yeah, he's been there before, and they may not even need him to go that long in this one because without Soto in that lineup, the way a lot of those other bats are struggling, they can get 3 runs early, and that probably does it for him where he doesn't need any more than that.
All right, let's get so Grant's dad, thank you for the donation. He says, what's happening? Ready to bounce back with you guys today? That's always the plan. You know, you just, it's every day is, you start every single day 0-0. You got to always remember that. You could go 3-0, you could go 0-3. You're always 0-0 the next day. We're always just trying to win the day and move on to the next day. And I'll be looking to bounce back. Now, I don't know if I'm going back to the well, but I'm going to bring this game up. As I teased in the beginning, I liked the Orioles yesterday. They were in control. Bryan Leonard, Trevor Rogers looked great.
Yeah.
They were in control, and it was a snowball effect from Gunnar Henderson once again. Guy's just having a terrible year. Like it's a combination of bad luck and then just like lack of execution. He looks miserable. I try to read body language when I'm watching games. Like he's a top 5 like most miserable human being in a baseball game this year. And listen, when you have bad BABIP luck, which he's had, and you come up with second and third, 1 out, and you can't get the job done repeatedly, it seems like it's every game. It seems like it's every game Gunnar comes up in a big spot. He can't get it done. A 3-2 game could have been 4-2. Drake Baldwin, props to him. He hit a good pitch. He hit a changeup that was almost in the dirt out for a solo home run, and then the Braves end up getting it done in extra innings. I badly want to come back with the Orioles here. You know I'm a stubborn guy in these spots, and it sets up again because guess what? Part of my handicap yesterday was the Braves needing those bullpen or having a tired bullpen, and they used a lot of the bullpen again to close out that win in extra innings. I prefer Young to Elder. So, Bryan Leonard, talk me off the Orioles. How do I not come back with them here?
Yeah, I was with you. I didn't play the Orioles, but I was rooting for them because I mentioned them on the show. And even the games I don't play, I want to win. I want to win everything I play. But yeah, there was one of those games where you thought they had it in them and they didn't. Today, Elder's against Young. Young's about a 110 favorite with a total of 9. And I just recently put that up as a free play on the site today. And I did use Baltimore. You know, the Braves fought back, and they fought in that game, came all the way back, and they win that game 7-6 in extra innings. And now I start Bryce Elder, who has had 5 straight starts lower than his 51 average game score this season. So he's slumping a little bit. If you take a look at his ERA at home compared to on the road, his dichotomy is pretty large. It's a full 2 runs higher when he goes on the road. And, you know, the Braves' 8th and 9th inning relievers had to pitch 2 of the last 3 days. And so their bullpen's in not that great a shape. I think Baltimore can get to Elder a little bit here. And, you know, Brandon Young, hey, you brought this up earlier in the season. I kind of poo-pooed it, and you were right. You're very good at handicapping these young pitchers that are coming up from the minor leagues. Hats off. If TB ever talks about, we just talked about McLean, another one who's been very good because he pointed it out early. That's where a lot of people don't pay attention to the minor leagues, so we could take advantage of them early on. And thank you, Trig, for being able to do that. A lot of people say you talk a lot, but to me, you give great information, and so it's worked out very well. But they've got a trusted arm in Young. Other than a couple of bad starts in one string, he's been very consistent. He's been the most consistent starter on this Baltimore staff, and you're getting the game at basically a pick 'em. I like Baltimore. I use them as my free play today, and I will use them as my game in the parlay today. I think they come back tonight. It's a night game, and I think they get the victory. They deserved it yesterday. They're going to get it today. So give me Baltimore minus 110 is my parlay leg.
Yeah. I mean, listen, these when guys, are not as known, they fall through the cracks. How many people right now would have Brandon Young top 10% in Major League Baseball, Tokyo Brandon, in chase rate? He's getting a lot of swing and miss. That's a good metric. And yet, just because he doesn't have a huge sample size at the big league level yet, he kind of gets pushed off to the side. I truly believe that's how you beat MLB. I don't know how you beat MLB sides unless you're taking advantage of the unknown at this point. So, I'm with you too. I like the Orioles. I have nothing to add there. So, TB, anything for you, Orioles, Braves, and anything on the total?
Yeah, I think everyone out there should grab a double play. You can get 2 of us 3 for 3 days. A huge discount. Like Brian's one of the hottest cappers the last 30 days. Adam and I are vying for number 2 among all 33 cappers on the year. So you can't go wrong with any 2 of us. So grab a double play. I have 2 MLB plays out today, and I'm sure my comrades here will have at least 1 play out today as well. So let me get to this game. I'm going to agree with you guys because I do like the Orioles here too. I like the spot that they're in. I like the fact that they have a winning record at home. And I do like Young as well. Although my expected numbers on him don't have him ranked that high. They have him ranked kind of mediocre. I also noticed I still like mediocre over Elder today because, like you pointed out, his last 4 or 5 starts have been absolutely awful.
We're live though. I did give it to go live. Just letting you know that's our guy Chris. He's just making sure our link is all set. But yeah.
We put out an SOS to the production department and they just chimed in. So yeah, I like Young much better than Elder. Like you pointed out, his last 5 or so starts have been really bad. His road dichotomy is bad. So Orioles would be my way. I wish it was plus money though, because they are not as good of a team as the Braves. So I would love to get plus money, but I'll take anything less than minus 115. I think the Orioles are a good bet here.
Yeah, that's our guy Chris. Our video team and our home office never sleep. They're constantly making sure stuff's working correctly. Constantly there to take your questions or concerns. Best in the business. It's not even close. So everyone say hi to Chris as he goes behind the scenes and make sure that the link that you guys are getting this on all platforms. Like I said, we're on YouTube. Obviously, if you get over to the YouTube channel, drop us a like and a subscribe while you're over there. It helps tremendously. But you should be able to see this on Twitter, on I don't even know all the platforms, to be honest with you. It goes out so many places, and the video guys make sure that happens on a daily basis. The final thing I'll add here, someone in the chat said Bryce Elder, that they like Bryce Elder. Listen, I don't have a real issue with him. He is a pro. The guy has not been given he doesn't have this God-gifted ability that a lot of these other pitchers do, but he makes the most of it. And he's always tinkering. He's always trying to figure out what he can do to stay in the league. Because if we're being honest, his stuff is not really major league stuff, but he's a pitcher. He's one of the few guys, I think, in the game today that really pitches and competes with less than average stuff. He had that sinker working for a while, but Brian, the league started to figure it out, and that's why he's getting hit a little bit. He's going to have to go and find the next big thing.
Yeah, you always have to respect your elders, and he's going against Bryce Young. So it's the young against the elders tonight, and that's that's an interesting matchup. Yeah, I agree. Elder's had a really nice season. He's been somebody they really needed, but he's in a downward spiral right now. And as you mentioned, he made some changes in the offseason, and now people are starting to figure it out a little bit. Luckily for Atlanta, Smith Shawver is about to be brought back up again, and he's equally, if not better, than Elder. So Atlanta's in pretty good shape there.
Yeah. Also, Hurston Waldrop has been starting games for Gwinnett, so they're both right on the horizon of being ready to start a big league game. Yet you said downward spiral. You gave us the segue, Brian. The Marlins. Alex Rand says, "Will the Marlins stop disappointing me today?" You know, I'm glad I didn't go back. I asked one of our producers to clip this segment of me talking about the Marlins, and I never followed up on it, and I'm really glad I didn't, because otherwise that clip would have been running all through the All-Star break, and they've now lost 9 straight games. So here I was thinking that I had this great bet that I gave out on the show on June 16th, Marlins to make the playoffs at plus 980, and they have lost 9 straight games. They've basically given – now, it doesn't mean they can't get there, because they built up a lot of goodwill in June. They were like – I think they were on a run of like 25-8. So they've just given some of that back. But Tokyo Brandon, Alex Rand says, will the Marlins – when is this going to stop? The question to you is, does it stop today?
Yeah, I think it does. Although, again, the Padres are just that – my Moby Dick. I can't beat them. The Padres just kill me every time. The Padres and the Mariners, 2 teams that I just will not put money on because I just get burned every time. But to cap this game, the starters matchup versus the teams they're playing today. Yuri Perez ranks number 3 out of all starting pitchers. He's got a 462 OPS against these Padres batters in his career. But the Miami Marlins are hitting 28th out of 30 in current form right now. Bullpen's pretty even. Huge pitching edge for Miami here. Looks like an under to me, actually, because I don't think Miami's going to be able to hit, and I don't think San Diego's going to be able to hit. But I like the Marlins a little bit better. You know, teams don't lose forever. But it kind of goes against my betting mantra, which is ride a streak until it's over. And so I would tend, my heart wants to bet against Miami until it's over, but my numbers are saying Miami should win this game.
Billy, yeah, I did make a comment earlier before the break that the Marlins were starting to, I was worried that they were going to be last year's Tigers, where coming out of the break, they just didn't have the same juice, and they have very much been that. He says, great call. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I'll be honest. I thought that they were just going to be overvalued relative to the market. Brian, it has been as bad as it could possibly be ever since your Guardians swept them in a competitive series that the Marlins just kept ending up on the wrong side of close games. They have not won a game since. I'm with TB, though. I kind of think they win here. Do you think the Marlins get it done today?
Yeah, yesterday I used the Chicago Houston game as the over. I gave it to clients, also gave it out here as a play for the parlay. And they scored 13 runs, I believe, something in that range. It was a higher scoring game. And I said teams having a day off, sometimes it rejuvenates their offense. I thought it would rejuvenate the Marlins offense yesterday, and I kind of thought that was a good spot for them. They had lost, 9 straight or some outrageous number, and now they're back home with the day off, and they didn't get the victory. I think they get the victory here. You're looking at me, about a 135 favorite with a total of 8. JP Sears is not a guy I'm looking to back. He's had a nice career. He's been able to have a nice career without really having a lot great stuff. But same with you guys. I've been so wrong on San Diego, and every time I put them out, I get it wrong. So I'm not going to give it out to my clients. But that said, this has got, if you're a spot player, and I know some of our handicappers are, I think this is a good spot play here on Miami. I just saw one place just dropped it down to 125. I'd lay 125 with Miami. I think Miami gets it done, but I'm not going to give it out as a play because, as I said, we've all struggled with San Diego. Why do we even bother the games? Because I don't think any of us feel confident either playing on or against the Padres.
Yeah, because the Padres are another team that's kind of, I guess, should be playing better than they have been. When you look at the roster, like they're a team. Also, I've probably beat the dead horse with them on this show. How many times in the past couple weeks I said, Padres are about to turn a corner. Here they come. Tatis starting to hit. Machado's starting to hit. So it's like the odds makers have done me a favor here by putting this price where it is, because had they been giving us a discount on Yuri Perez and the Marlins, I think I'd almost have to jump in. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that minus 135, that's crazy. I'm not taking the Marlins at minus 135 on an 8-game losing streak, like when I think it should be closer to minus 110, minus 115. So the odds makers did me a favor. They just made my life easy here. Now, Brian, he says that the Padres are starting to take a little bit of money. Yeah, I kind of expected that. If they, we'll see how much that moves. I would start to maybe consider it, like Brian said, I would start to maybe consider it at minus 125. I think if you gave me 10 more cents, it would really start to consider it. But I hope I don't have to make that decision, because I, too, don't really want to fade the Padres right now either. Let's go to Freebird.
Leg Show just made a really good comment here. Guessing the end of a losing streak's never a good bet, in my opinion. He's probably right. Yep. As
our good pal Steve Merrill likes to say, don't want to catch that falling knife. That's something. Him and Drew are always like, don't touch that falling knife. And I always get cut by the falling knife. I have lots of scars from the falling knife right here, boys.
You get better value when you do it, so I don't eliminate any game regardless of what the winning streak is.
Sure. We all have our ways and we all win.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, stay with the falling knife here. Freebird says, great show. Freebird, we appreciate the donation. He said, I'm in Tampa Bay. This guy's everywhere. He's in Tampa Bay now. He was in Italy, and then he was in Switzerland. Now he's in Tampa Bay. He's going
Tampa
to the
Bay
Rays
and Italy
game.
are almost the same, right?
Yeah. What's the difference?
Upstate New York and Italy are almost the same. I don't know about Tampa. We have so many. I'm Italian, and we have, like, if you come into like the capital region, like every place is like Little Italy. I don't know Tampa. I love Tampa though. And you know what?
I really like Tampa.
The Tropicana Field is overhated. That is a good place to go watch a game. Yeah. I listen, Freebird, you're gonna have a great time. You go to Ferg's before. Ferg's is a great ballpark bar. You can move freely. You're inside. You're not out there sweating in the heat. Trop is a good place to go watch a game. I'll die on that hill. And you know what, Brian Leonard? It's a good place for the Rays to play baseball games. They are 36-15 at home after the win yesterday. The question is, does the falling knife get them again, or do they bounce back here?
Yeah, Tanner Bybee against Martinez. Martinez continues to prove people wrong. They're looking for that regression. We're looking at Tampa in the 115 to 120 range and a total of 8. And if I'm playing, I'm laying with Tampa Bay. For some reason, Cleveland brought back Jose Ramirez without playing any minor league games, and they let him play the first game. He gets 2 hits, and then they set him yesterday. So he must have gotten too tired, I guess. I don't know.
This makes no sense.
That was a move that I saved TB the trouble of bitching about it, because I thought it was strange, but it was okay because I had already played Tampa Bay to win that game, and even without him having a lot of major league at bats in the last few weeks, it's still strange to have him out of the lineup. But he should be back. They got Hanahel Martinez back in the lineup yesterday, so Cleveland's offense is much better now than it was, let's just say, a week ago. That said, Tanner Bybee has been very good. He's been very good at home. He's had bad luck. He's having his typical season now. His numbers are about what they normally are, but he just doesn't have the wins. They haven't been winning for him. And that is always a concern when you're going on the road, playing a team in Tampa Bay who always finds ways to win. We've talked about how they were the luckiest team in baseball earlier this year. You take a look at, let's go quickly to the Major League Baseball standings. Tampa Bay is sitting there right now with a .583 win percentage, 17 games over 500, and they've only outscored the opposition by 38 runs. They've won a lot of these extra inning games, a lot of these tight contests, and if you take a look at Cleveland, Cleveland right now, let's take a quick look at the back of that bullpen. Cleveland right now, Smith is pitched 2 of the last 3 days. He'd be available today, but Hunter Gaddis has pitched 3 of the last 4, including giving up I think it was a 3-run homer last night when he came in. They brought up Tim Herron. He didn't really look that good. They brought him back up from the minors. So they had to use 5 pitchers last night, throwing about 100 innings out of that bullpen. So don't want any part of Cleveland here. If I'm playing, I'm laying with Tampa Bay here. Cleveland offense, as I said, is better than it was a week ago. But still, Tampa Bay at home is a better team.
Tokyo Brandon, I don't have much on the side here, but I was trying to – I think I might be able to make a case for the under. I don't know if you're going to get runs like you did yesterday. That got a little bit out of hand. The Rays just, Cantillo couldn't get out of that 1 inning, and then I think the Guardians kind of gave up. So my gut says this is a tighter game than yesterday's game, and if that is the case, I feel like it's a little bit lower scoring. How do you see Rays Guardians?
Guys, a couple specials going on before I get to this game. A double play, 2 of us 3 for a huge discount. WagerTalk's also offering my KBO rest of the season, and they're going to throw in Mexican baseball and Japanese baseball for free. Grab that as well. And I'm doing a Sunday MLB show on my YouTube channel, 9 a.m. Eastern. So check out those 3 things. And let me get to this game. I'm totally with you, Adam. I think after that kind of explosion yesterday, I think Tampa Bay bats will calm down today. Bybee, in his career, I think he has a 615 OPS against versus these batters. So yeah, I know Tampa Bay is a great home team, and I know they have a great run differential, but even the greatest teams in MLB lose about 30 to 40% of their games. And I think this is probably a spot, not necessarily where they lose, but they don't score a lot. So I think a Tampa Bay team total under might be a good play here. Although I have not played it myself.
Yeah, total just gut feel play for me. My number is right on 8. That is where 8 is what it is. I think I'd be more inclined to push that if it was 8.5. But my number's right on 8. I feel like, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. These 2 teams played early. It was either earlier this year or late last year, where every single game was 2-1. That might have been earlier this year. I feel like they had a series earlier this year where it was 3-1, 3-2, 2-1. So to get an 11 whatever, again, it got out of hand late. Mm-hmm. This is just a total gut call. I'm saying 4-3. I think this is 3-2, 4-2, 4-3. The game that you expect the Guardians and the Rays to play, that I feel like they've played so many times. 11-3 just isn't what happens when these 2 teams typically get together. So I'll say under 8.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Both teams are built off their pitching staffs. That makes a lot of sense. I do want to point out, I don't promote myself very often, but TB was just talking about it. I've got my 4% up right and early today. So we've got a 4% going today on a 14-4 run, 50-25 overall Major League Baseball, number 1 the last 30 days. Regarding this game, though, I will point out that you had mentioned that you thought it was a pretty nice ballpark, decent ballpark. I have a house in Orlando, and I go to a lot of games in Tampa. The best part of Tampa is nobody goes to the games. You can sit wherever you want.
Yeah.
That's the best part of going to Tampa.
Yeah, listen, I'm an experienced guy too. I like Fergs. I like being able to go to Fergs, walk into the game, like you're saying, Brian. It's very easy to move around. It's just, you can kind of sit wherever you want. You want to go in the outfield a little bit, fine. There's a great bar out in center. My buddy Chris Thurston, his brother's company Viva Tequila Seltzer is now the main sponsor over in left field. They've got it's a good experience. Is it the nicest ballpark ever? No. Is it at least top 15 or top half of ballparks just in game experience and enjoyable for me? Yeah, I just think people are just it's the worst in the league, and I disagree with that. I don't think it's the worst in the league. This is a unpopular take. I don't really want to go to Yankee Stadium. That's not an overall great experience. Neither is Fenway for me at this
Yeah,
point. Once you get past, oh, there's the monster. It's Boston. Like,
Yep.
You're sitting in a seat from 1910. You can't even fit in the thing.
Fenway and
So-
Wrigley are museums, but I don't want to see a baseball game there. It's
Colin's going to shut this down. He's like, it's a bottom 5 ballpark.
There-
Move on.
there
Okay.
you go.
All
There
right.
you go.
Fine. Fine. I'll tell you what's
Everyone's
I'll
got
tell
their
you what's a
thing.
top 5. I'll tell you what's a top 5 Tokyo, Brandon. Coors Field is a top 5 park for me. I absolutely love that place. Now, this game's not in Coors today. This is in Milwaukee. But Coors Field for me, I don't think it'll ever leave my top 5. It's this phenomenal ballpark, great views. City of Denver's very cool. The Rockies are on the road though. And so I want to go to Mike's game because I have an opinion here. I want to see what you guys have to say about this. He says Gasser being minus 230 is crazy. Just like that crazy price yesterday, he's going to be taking the Rockies. So Brewers, Rockies to you, do you agree or disagree? Is that too big of a price on the Brew Crew?
I don't think it's too big of a price, although it is a steep price. But the Brewers are a much better team than the Rockies. But like I just said earlier, even the best teams in MLB are going to lose 30 to 40% of their games. And yesterday was one of those days. The Rockies are actually hitting better than the Brewers. And if they, Sagano was the better pitcher yesterday too. So it made sense that they won that game. Better hitting, better pitching usually equals better score, generally speaking. Today is not quite that case. Feltner's walking a lot of guys, but he's got really good numbers against these Milwaukee hitters. So, instead of laying a price like that, I might think about taking an under in this game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of runs scored. And Feltner actually has really good numbers against these guys, despite his walk problems, his command and control problems. And Gasser's not a bad pitcher. He's not, a household name or anything. But let's see. I got him ranked 19 on a scale of 30, which isn't horrible, but he's only walking 20% of the guys he's striking out. So he's not walking people, but his expected numbers not real great. However, I don't expect Colorado to put up, 10 runs today. I think this is probably looking like an under to me. So if you don't want to lay that price, maybe an under is a way to go.
Ryan, it's the same handicap that I almost always have with the Rockies, where it's like if you get these big prices and it's Robert Gasser, I don't mind him. He's someone that I've had high hopes for. When he was coming up, he hit a little rough patch with injuries, but I mean he's got good stuff. But it's like the Brewers are just not the type of team. They're going to win a lot of games, but I don't think they're built to just blow teams out. So every time I see a scenario like this, where I can get a +1.5 with the opposition against the Brewers, I have to at least consider it. That's kind of what Mike's saying. Do you agree or disagree? Rockies, would you take the run line here, or do you like the Brew Crew?
This is unusual for me, but I disagree. Feltner was very good earlier in the season. He was carrying this pitching staff. He's fallen apart as of late. His stuff has never been that great, and it's the regression has hit in that regard. And Gasser, even though, he's not a great pitcher, but if there are other guys who are in this situation, they're top of the pitching staff guys, they'd be a $3 favorite. So I think there's actually value on Milwaukee here. I'm not going to give it out on the show. I pay for some other services, so I'm not going to give that out on the show. But there's an angle which is 101 and 19, and that's on the Milwaukee Brewers in this game. I'm not going to elaborate on it, but Colorado is not the team I'm looking to win back-to-back games on the road against one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. When we talked about this in the past, where the Dodgers really don't care. Milwaukee wants to win as many games as they can. They want to win that division. Yeah. They were embarrassed by what happened last year in the NL Championship. They are not going to let the Colorado Rockies go on the road and beat them twice in a row at home. I think this line should probably be about 30 cents higher. So if I'm playing, I'm laying.
Yeah, I think that's like I don't think the line should be higher. From a line value standpoint, I do think that there's some line value at least per my numbers on the Rockies. But Brian, you made a really good point. I thought the Rockies had value in this series just in general. But after winning yesterday, that's where it's like for me, it's like, well, you didn't play the Rockies yesterday. They won 5-2. Used Sensatela. Vodnik pitched a good inning. Romano got the save. Let's say they get themselves into a close game again. The Rockies aren't necessarily doing that every single day where they're just like going out and locking down a 5-2 lead. So like for me, I feel like that yesterday was the day to play the Rockies. Even though I do think there's some value here, I would not want to play into that trend that you just pointed out, where it's Brewers off a loss. And for me, I like Gasser more than I think the market does. So I don't really want to bet against him right now either.
I just wanted to say that's not just the Brewers; that's a league-wide trend.
Okay.
So
okay,
yeah, that gives it more. It gives it a little bit more strength.
All right, Tokyo Brandon, do you know what game you want to use for the parlay? Because I know, but I think we've already talked about mine. So I'm going to let you go ahead here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take. Let's see. Let me make sure here real quick. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Cardinals here because I know everyone's in love with Green, but I'm not. And I like the Reds bullpen is just playing horrible. Yeah, I know that the Reds are hitting a little better than the Cardinals, but I just like Polanyi a little bit better than Green. I know that might be a crazy take here, but I like the Cardinals here. They're decent at home. Well, not really. Well, the Reds and the Cardinals are equally bad in my opinion. Cardinals have 52-51 team, and I like Palante a little better than Hunter Green. I know everyone's in love with Hunter Green; he's the darling, but I think the Cardinals are going to pull this one out. So I'm going to take Cardinals as my parlay leg at minus 110, I believe it is. And after yesterday's pretty pathetic performance, I think they bounce back today.
Yeah, I didn't play well yesterday. Really, honestly, the Cardinals haven't played well all week. And the Cardinals, Bryan Leonard, were a team that I really thought might regress in the second half. I thought they maxed out on what they could do in the first half. If you go back to the beginning of the season, now you were right about this, at least to this point. A lot of people had the Cardinals in their bottom five coming into the season. And you were like, no, I think I have much higher hopes for this team. And I guess the way I look at it, because again, I'm just trying to find value relative to market. I felt like the Cardinals played as good as they could have played in the first half. Like they had a tremendous first half to the point where I'm inclined to fade them at this point. That being said, I don't know if I really want much of part of the Reds here either. Some bullpen usage, they don't hit, and they're on the road. And also, this is something that you said a couple shows ago. They've been horrific in their division, and this is an in-division game.
Yeah, you're right. They're 4-20 when playing their division rivals, but the Cardinals have regressed a little bit. They're 3-7 their last 10. That was my only loser last night. I had the Cardinals. May had been great, and he pitched great again. Unfortunately, the opposing pitcher also pitched very well, and I didn't see that coming. Yeah, if I'm playing here, I prefer the Cardinals. The line is pretty cheap. You're looking at basically in the 112 range at this point, and at 110, 112. And if I'm playing, I would prefer the Cardinals here. I do like Green, but the way Cincinnati's played against divisional rivals, and this is actually the weekend that is really important for Cincinnati. If Cincinnati doesn't come out of St. Louis by probably a sweep, they can start trading away some players at the trade deadline because they're not going to be able to make the playoffs. This is a huge. We have a bunch of teams that are in that same situation this weekend, in which they're really important games. The San Diego, Miami, we've talked that, and we've talked some others. So, yeah, Cincinnati needs to win this game. It's much more important to them than it is the Cardinals right now. But yeah, they've been so bad against divisional rivals. It's St. Louis or nothing for me.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Marlins. That's got to be my parlay leg. We've already talked about the game. They got to get it going. And this with Perez, like it, Brian, what are we looking at for a money line right now? Did you say this dipped like across like market wide?
Nah, it only dipped at one place, the South Point here in Vegas, which is a pretty sharp place, by the way. But it's about 135 everywhere right now, in the St. Louis game is about 110.
Yeah, listen, I minus 135 is going to probably price me out for making a client play. And I will be furious at myself if I play the Marlins today and they lose, which is very much still on the table. So again, Padres take money and they bump it 20 cents in the other direction. Your boy's probably jumping right on. JP Sears he's not really like a great big league pitcher at this point. I think he's actually done well for San Diego, all things considered. I mean, this was a guy that I played on when he was at, or I played on or against. I think mostly against when he was at El Paso earlier this year. Wasn't really impressed with how he was throwing the ball. So I'm kind of surprised that he's thrown it as well as he has since he got to the big leagues. Him and Randy Dobnak just must be, I don't know how they're doing this, but they haven't been great at AAA. They get to the big leagues and they both look like all-stars all of a sudden. So I'll use TB's word, little fugazi right there, JP Sears. You know who's not, though? Yuri Perez. That dude is a stud. The Marlins need him right here. I think they get it done. So Marlins, I will close out the parlay with. And that brings us to the end of the show. I haven't put anything up for sale yet. Listen, I will have stuff on my page, but if you're going to use a double play, Brian's already got something up. TB's on a better run than I am, so use it on these two. Let me get my mojo back first. Or, hey, also, though, I will say this. If I was buying picks, I do tend to, you kind of want to jump in after someone's had a little bit of a cold run, not when they've won 10 in a row. It's like the most counterintuitive thing that we come on and we're like 10-0 run, we got a big play. And then it's like, what do you think the next 10 are going to be? How many 20-0 runs do you guys have? You know, it's tough to do. But anyway, Grant's dad hopping in with a huge donation. This might be the biggest one ever.
Wow.
I feel like we need to stop the show. I got to read this for him. He says, need to personally thank each of you. Grant's mom has been in stage 4 and your shows, plays, and especially daily presence have been significant help and distraction for me. Y'all mean a great deal and your expertise is invaluable. God bless each of you. Grant, thank you so much for that. I got to see if we'll see. We'll make sure the big.
Let's send him some swag. Get in touch with the office to send him some WagerTalk gear. Send it to Freebird also, because he's been every day consistently donating.
We will get with the bosses. I think we definitely still have some gear laying around. And we can definitely get you something for that. So much appreciated. We appreciate each and every one of you that come in here, contribute on a daily basis. If you missed the live show, no problem. It's always on demand on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. While you're over there, drop us a like, a subscribe, and a comment, because we do get in there and jump in and chop it up with you guys. I try to answer almost every question. That unless you like go in and just call me trash, then I just usually give you a thumbs up emoji. I typically don't answer those with words. Anyway,
I give that person a thumbs up emoji.
Yeah, good, bad, or indifferent. We want to hear from you guys. Today's parlay is as follows: Marlins money line, Cardinals money line, Orioles money line. Nice and simple. 3 full game money lines. Orioles minus 110, Cardinals minus 110. Marlins minus 135. For the love of God, can the Marlins win a game so our future isn't dead? I really wanted to cash that 980 future that's still chilling there. So hopefully they get it going today. Have a great weekend, and the 3 of us will be back Monday morning. Take care.